about, So it's a fun group more than anything. And we can talk about X's and O's all day long. It's the culture, it's the identity, it's the feel of each other, the caring, the communication. They're learning how to communicate, bottom line, in game, in practice. That's really where you start to see the turn. So, and then, we're trying different lineups. We're trying to figure out how to play, who to play with. I think there's a lot there, There's a lot of options on the table right now as far as playing big, playing small, playing fast. We got a lot of, variations there. So learning who to play and all. But in general, I just love their spirit. They're a fun group. They're a competitive group, and they're about the right stuff.
David, have you made a decision about Zion coming off the bench yet, or do we have to wait to tip off to find out?
Tip off. Tip off.
If he does come off the bench, then what does it say about him that a player of his caliber is willing to do that?
Well, he's putting the team above himself. The individual always wants to start in general. Every player I've been around in general wants to start. And I think he started. I don't know if is that his first one. And it was just a clear communication between the two of us saying, hey, what do you think? Is this best for you, the team? We want to maximize his minutes. And it made sense to him. It made sense to me. And it allowed him to close that game fresh. And we won the game. So that helps, So he's open to it. He's a team guy. That's the beauty about Zion is he cares about the team. He wants to win.
And for you, obviously, a key part of being a head coach is getting buy-in from your guys. And when you make a move like that, I guess what's your message to kind of get that buy-in from, like you said, to get to the point where y'all both are on the same page that a move like that makes sense?
The buy-in is winning. I think that's the goal here, and that's if you're about team and you're about winning, you're willing to make moves like that. And if guys are willing to sacrifice, then that's a positive for our culture and in our team. So, and then it's trust at the end of the day. Do your players trust you? Do I trust my players? And that's the communication I'm having with these guys right now. They trust me. I trust them. It's a balancing communication, And I value their input. I'm listening to them every single day on X's and O's. I'm listening to them every day on how they're feeling, their bodies, their minds, and then we make a decision from there. But it's all built out of trust, and that's what we're trying to do here.
And when you're selling that message, how big a part of it is that the fact that you can get him in earlier in the fourth quarter rather than having to wait till like the 3 or 4 minute mark
with the minutes?
Yeah, when you're trying to make sure
it lays out cleaner if you can bring him in. If you can bring him off the bench, it lays out cleaner to finish. In the fourth quarter in a more manageable way. We're not rushing to get him back in or take him out. It gets a little clunky in the fourth if we start him right out of the gate. So we've looked at that. Hopefully the minutes will fluctuate as we go here over the next couple games, and we can, get back to his normal rotation. But until then, my goal is to maximize his minutes, period. And I want him on the floor as long as possible, being as efficient as possible, and that's a rotation thing. It's not complicated. It's a math equation that we're trying to do here. So he understands that. As long as I'm honest with him and we open up that conversation, it lays out cleaner for us.
I believe Sunday you tied the second fewest points allowed this season. What did you see on that end that you hoping to carry over tonight?
Well, we spent a lot of time on the defensive end. Obviously, we've been, bleeding on that end of the floor. But more communication and transition, we talked about that. Number one, that they're a high-volume transition team. I saw more commitment to get back, to get our defense set in the Chicago game. And then the board, obviously, is the second area where we're really digging in. One chance, and we're going to get tested tonight. Maybe one of the best offensive rebounding team in the league is in our house tonight. So the board's going to be a major factor. And I thought we did a pretty good job on the board the other night as well. If we can stabilize those two areas, we're going to have a chance to guard. We're going to give ourselves a chance. Obviously, we still had some breakdowns. One-on-one defense, I think that's one of the areas we're really identifying for our guys, that there's accountability on guarding your guy one-on-one, period. And it's clear. Like, there's no hiding from it. You can watch the video and say, did I guard my guy or did I not? And these guys are seeing their numbers. We're not hiding from it. There's no excuse behind it. You got to be able to guard one-on-one. And there's got to be a pride of that one-on-one defense. And then we've been working in our pick-and-roll defense, which I thought got better on was that Sunday? Sunday night against Chicago. We're trying to figure out, where to put Queen, how to utilize him in our pick and roll schemes. And it's not just Queen, it's the guy on the ball, how to get through the screen. And I think it's something that we're trying to work on. The best teams, the best defenses in this league, they have these defenders that can skinny up and get through screens, over, under the screen, where you don't need the big as long. And that's an area that we're really tapping into right now.
I believe you coached with Ime Udoka in San
Yes,
Antonio.
yes.
So I'm guessing you're not surprised that this is a defensive first, hit first team.
That's Ime, yeah.
So what about this Rockets team matches the personality that you saw from him in San Antonio?
Well, I coached Ime, so it goes back, even further than that. We coached together, and he was always that type of player. He was a feisty, competitive, defensive-minded guy. He knew to get on the floor, he had to defend. We weren't putting him out there for offense. We had enough offense around him, but Ime was there to defend, to knock down a shot, to play with competitive spirit. And it's not a coincidence that that's how he coaches. He's about defense, defensive identity. His teams are tough. They emulate who he was as a player on the floor. But I'm not surprised, with his success. He's done a heck of a job with this group. He's taken a team that people said couldn't guard, and he's turned them into a defensive group. So, he's doing a heck of a job, and I'm really proud of him. Good, thanks.